After winning our season opener, we're looking to build off that momentum in week 2. This time, my team, the LA Wakers, will be taking on OGalbina and the Carolina Roaring Moon in a Pokemon Draft League Wi-Fi battle. I'll be giving you guys a quick breakdown of what Pokemon I brought today, why I chose these Pokemon, and the Wi-Fi battle will follow after. My opponent's draft is insane. They have the best ground type currently in Great Tusk, an Iron Moth that can terrestrialize to either fire or water type, a fantastic defensive backbone with Rotom Wash, Screamtail, and Fortress, and even Shadow Tag Gothitelle to stop me from switching. Not to mention they're also an incredible draft player. And this is my second game in 3 years. So I needed a hero, which is why I decided to bring Palafin. Palafin's stats are insane. Base 160 attack and a priority move in Jet Punch, which is great in checking Great Tusk, Iron Moth if it hasn't terrestrialized, Talonflame, and even a Scarf Gothitelle that's been weakened. While Choice Band was an option to 2 KO my opponent's entire team with Wave Crash if Stealth Rock were up, I opted for Assault Vest to better check Iron Moth. If Iron Moth terrestrializes in front of Palafin and it has 0 bulk, close combat does 84 to 99%, always putting in range of Jet Punch to follow up. With 144 special defense EVs in the Assault Vest, I always take a modest +1 energy ball from Iron Moth, even if it also has a booster energy boost. Besides max attack, the rest of my EVs were put into speed to outspeed Jolly Breloom. I could have went faster than offensive Rotom, but if it's offensive Rotom, it's not going to switch into Palafin very well anyway. And I want to increase my odds versus Iron Moth no matter what. The only downside to Palafin is I have to bring it in and switch it out first to get in hero form. But that's pretty easy with Flip Turn, especially when I pair it with my next Pokemon, Meowscarada. Meowscarada has an incredible speed tier in this game, faster than every single one of my opponent's Pokemon besides Talonflame. Knock Off, Flower Trick, and U-Turn hit the entire team for neutral or super effective damage, and also have Spikes just to rack up damage itself. I opted for an Extra Belt just to get more damage versus Rotom Wash and Great Tusk, which I'm fully expecting to have either Resist Berry or be a bulk up variant. Getting rid of Ursaring's Eviolite or Screamtail's leftovers also makes them so much easier to deal with. And if Iron Moth tears early into a water type, Flower Trick is super spammable. I went with 244 speed EVs with a Jolly Nature to outspeed Choice Scarf Timid Gothitelle, which now has access to Focus Blast. Espathra is insane in this matchup. Previously I could only terrestrialize into Psychic or Fighting because we have Terra Captains in this draft league, but I gave up one free agency trade to change that Fighting to a Ghost type. Because Shadow Ball is extremely spammable versus my opponent's team, now having a stronger stab one versus Screamtail and Gothitelle, as well as allowing me to escape Gothitelle Shadow Tag since Ghost types cannot be trapped, and Rapid Spin block Fortress. With a modest nature and an Extra Belt boost, Shadow Ball 2 KO Screamtail, smashes physically defensive Fortress, smashes Gothitelle, Lumina Crash hits incredibly hard versus Great Tusk and Iron Moth even if it does terrestrialize, and Dazzling Gleam gives me coverage for Hydreigon, though it could easily be Roselli Berry. With 220 speed EVs, I outspeed a Jolly Great Tusk, and with Protect, I can outspeed even a Choice Scarf variant. I wanted the maximum damage, which is why I went Modest versus Timid. While that does give up the speed tier versus Hydreigon, it just allows me to hit the entire team for so much more damage. And I have Hydreigon checks anyway. If you look at my 3 members so far, Great Tusk clicks Headlong Rush or Close Combat, so I decided on defensive Hawlucha. Brave Bird, Roost, U-Turn, and Taunt. Brave Bird to wear down Great Tusk, Roost for longevity, U-Turn to get on out of there just in case my opponent switches into something like Fortress or Screamtail, and Taunt can be nice to stop Fortress from going for hazards or Great Tusk from using bulk up. With 208 HP EVs and 204 defense EVs, I guarantee take one Choice Band player up from Great Tusk, or a Choice Band Ice Spinner. Because this is my team's Great Tusk switch-in, it makes more sense to be bulkier rather than trying to EV it to outspeed a max speed Screamtail or speed tie with Iron Moth. So I opted for a Jolly Nature with 96 speed EVs just to be a backup check for Hydreigon to get a little bit of damage with Brave Bird, that way Dazzling Gleam can knock it out even if it is Roselli Berry. Rocky Helmet just lets me wear down Great Tusk for Espathra. This is also a Breloom answer if needed, and I have Limber as my ability just so my opponent can't Thunder Wave me. Next we have Dragalge, which allows me to absorb Toxic Spikes if Iron Moth or Fortress set them up, lay down Toxic Spikes of my own in case Iron Moth terrestrializes into a water type, and also threaten my opponent's entire team with Sludge Bomb or Draco Meteor damage, with only Fortress resisting both. Even with 0 special attack investment, Adaptability Sludge Bombs and Draco Meteors hit incredibly hard. I opted for Sleep Talk as my last move just because I wanted to be able to switch into Breloom just in case it went for Spore. And 2 out of 3 turns, Sleep Talk will pull a move that would knock out Breloom. Unfortunately, because my opponent does have a Gothitelle, I'm pretty much forced to use Shed Shell on this Pokemon. Otherwise, I'd use Black Sludge or Safety Goggles and get rid of Sleep Talk for something else. This is my Rotom and my Iron Moth switching. It's actually easy to take a +1 Psychic from Iron Moth, as well as 2 max attack Jolly Brave Birds from Talonflame. It also lives a Choice Scarf Hydreigon's Draco Meteor 93% of the time. Lastly, we have Iron Treads, which can safely sit on Screamtail and knock it off, and get up Stealth Rock to wear down Rotom Wash, that way something like Palafin can put in even more work. It also means my opponent can't just get up hazards versus me and wear me down very easily. because I do a rapid spin. I gave it 16 speed to outspeed Timid Gothitelle, but the rest is put into HP and special defense just to be a tank to take a hit from Iron Moth in a pinch, a Rotom's Hydro Pump, a Hydreigon's Flamethrower, and if I see Spidops, it's on sight. Also, my opponent is less than 300 away from 2,000 subscribers, their end of the year goal. They put out excellent Draft League content, and I feel like we can close that gap. Lastly, I want to give a big shout out to Dylan for the team building help, as well as MV and Tone for the mocks. So subscribe if you enjoy Draft League content, and let's hop right into the battle. Week 2 of the BBR, I'm playing OGalbina. They got some threats. Oof. Their entire team. If you missed the team builder, it was literally right before this. So I mean, if you didn't want to watch it, I understand. But go ahead and check them out. I think they're really close to 2,000 subs. Last I checked, and or that's their goal anyway. I'm just gonna write down their team because we got to know what the hell I'm fighting today. I know the game shows you, but I don't know, man. I don't like the way the game shows it personally. I don't know. If you hear my dog playing with something in the background, it's because my dog's playing with something in the background. You're welcome. My detective skills are unmatched. And yeah, they got the bloom. No surprise Ursaring, which is nice to see. I'm going to try and break through them with my Espathra, as always. And unfortunately, my item on my Dragalge is useless. Could have went with the safety goggles, but the threat of Gothitelle obviously makes you do certain things. We're going to lead off Meowscarada faster than their entire team can potentially get a knockoff off. I'm assuming they lead off with Breloom, but I can hard switch into my Sleep Talk Dragalge and go from there. If y'all hype about week 2, make sure you check out week 1, man. Like, what you doing starting over here? The playlist is down below, and I'm excited for draft. Oh no, a new Java update available. Shut the hell up. Who do you think you're talking to? So I lead off with the Iron Moth, of all things, as a lead. Wow. Wow. I mean, a great lead on my opponent's part, right? Kind of just want a U-turn, considering this is really only there for this mon. But I should hard switch, shouldn't I? I'm a U-turn. You want a Scarf? Oh my god. I just threw my Pokemon turn 1 for no reason. I'm so dumb. And I can win the game without it, but I'm so dumb. I should have just hard switched into Dragalge. Oh my god, I'm terrible for that. Oh, this is gonna go great, guys. So great play on my part, turn 1. Can't really complain about it. I played that amazingly from the start. Yo, I'm so bad for that play. Holy crap. I definitely should have just switched out to Palafin. The problem was my Palafin had not Terrored yet. My Palafin hadn't Palafin yet, so that's just a terrible start from the get. Obviously, I could have been Scarfed there as well, but oof. I already know this game is going to go crazy. I already know this game is going to go crazy. Spothor can still win late game, thankfully, but I just made some bad plays. I just made some bad plays to start it off. So, okay. You know what's crazy? In testing, I did the same thing. I'm going to just drop a Draco here. We'll see what they bring out. Rotom has Volt Switch. It's faster than me. That did 333 to 305. God, I can't believe I threw that away turn 1. Should never have done that play, honestly. Rotom Wash, defensive. That's just defensive Rotom Wash. It makes the game more interesting, that's for sure. Makes the game more interesting, that's for sure. We drop a Draco. I've missed every Draco Meteor on Fortress in testing. What is this ugly background? Why are we playing in this dude's thing? I don't like that at all. I do not like that. So we hit Fortress, which is nice. Doesn't have left. Fortress is looking up at me. No leftovers, so we don't know the item just yet. We are going to just bring out our Ivory here and proceed to go from there. It could be Chesto Resto, for sure. That Draco did a ton of damage to Fortress as well. I can't believe I did this. That Draco did a ton of damage, so I don't really mind the spikes at all. I should be okay. I should be okay because the Spothor is super good here. Regardless of what happens, the Spothor is super good. We're going to immediately Rapid Spin away the damage. I'm assuming they have Rocky Helmet. Let's see. Spikes. Helmet. Yep. And they're going to Earthquake me or Body Press or whatever it is going to do. Yep, they do Earthquake me. Now, I only need this Pokemon for this thing in particular. So we should be good in theory. We should be good in theory. EQ. We should be okay. So I'm going to Earthquake. My main goal is to make sure they don't get any hazards up at all. That's my main goal of this entire thing. I don't want them to get any hazards up, like, at all in this. Nothing. Nothing. Because I am special defensive as well, I mean, I can potentially get up rocks too. We are going to Rapid Spin once more. Again, we do not want to deal a game with Fortress's hazards. Though I will say that rocks being up is probably better for me than spikes. Let me see. They do go right for Earthquake again, which is fair. Does not knock me out, and I'm out of range of the next hit, which is great. They may even end up switching, but they could just sack this thing to try and beat me 1v1 to prevent me from getting up the hazards as my own. But I'm going to try and go for a Stealth Rock here. Again, they may end up switching out into Rotom, which would be fine. I do want rocks up to kind of wear down Scream Tail as well. Just a little bit. They end up going for Earthquake. Perfect, 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 perfect. So, that's great. They knock me out, but I end up getting... I can't believe I did that with Slitherwing. Slitherwing... Wow, Iron Moth. Moth KO's Mouse. Moth KO's Mouse. They also have the... What else do they have? I mean, I'm always going to Spothra here. There's no other play. We're going to Spothra. We're going to Terra immediately as well, just so we could do as much damage as possible, also so they can't spin. We're Terra Ghost. I changed to Terra Ghost this week. And then Fori. If they go hard Scream Tail, Fori KOs Iron Treads. If they go hard Scream Tail, I'd be okay with that because I'm Expert Belt and Modest. So this will do a lot to Scream Tail potentially. Let me see. Espathra. I could see them saving this maybe as a last-ditch check to Palafin. Which I do gotta get in as quickly as possible. Yep, so they do switch. Again, if they go Scream Tail, that's fine for me. Braylon would be okay too. Mercy. Mercy is Scream Tail. So they're gonna come in on an Extra Belt Shadow Ball. It does 59 to 70 if they're not special defensive. So we'll see. I'd be okay with picking up the K. Basically, this is a 2-for-1 if this is not special defensive. I'd be hella okay with this because Shadow Ball is going to do so much damage unless they resist. I guess unless they have the resist item. Like, a Spothra goes crazy in this game. Let's see if they have a Ghost Resist. Like, let's see how much this does. Woo! Beautiful damage. Beautiful damage. So that is a solid 2 KO. And they don't have an item. Ain't no way you trick Scarf, bro. So Espathra KOs Scream Tail, and Espathra goes crazy in this game. Espathra KOs Scream Tail. I always have Scream Tail to knock out Breloom now that Stealth Rock Arb as well. So this is a really strong start. Very, very... No, it's actually a very bad start, but it's a strong finish. They might think I'm Specs as well, just based on the fact that I KO'd them there. Like, they might think I'm Specs. So they might not end up going out into... I mean, they should go Rotom, I think, if anything. But again, they might think I'm Specs. I'm definitely Extra Belt. And now at +2 speed, I'm faster than Iron Moth, which can definitely Terra on me and click something like Energy Ball. Depending on what it clicks, I always go out into my Palafin, I think, which is good late game. So if Rotom comes out, Rotom could have Thunder Wave. I need to be careful around Rotom. I need to be smart around Rotom. That's what I need to do. I need to be very smart around Rotom. I'm not worried about Great Tusk. I knock it out with Lumina Crash. I have Rocky Helmet on my homie to deal with that too. So they bring out Great Tusk here. Clearly it's AV or something, right? So I'm going to make the Hawlucha play because Brave Bird is decent versus their team. Let's see what they go for. Hawlucha. I'm at 349. I'm going to write down my HP. They go for Headlong Rush, which is amazing for me. Because now I can safely click Brave Bird. Don't have to predict here. They cannot knock me out unless their choice. I'm assuming this thing is AV. Fortress will go down to 2 hits. And the damage on Rotom is so good. The damage on Rotom is so good. Woo, that did some big damage. Oh, okay, that's why. I did some decent damage there. Not bad at all. So I get a nasty crit on Rotom. I'm going to U-turn because I do live a Volt Switch. If anything, they are Scarf Rotom as well. Okay, I do live the Volt. They are Scarf, though. Scarf Rotom. Scarf. which is gonna be so good for Palafin, man. Holy crap. So they might expect me to go for the... They might expect me to go for the U-turn here, so they end up bringing out this Mon, which is fine, I think. I think that's definitely fine. Gonna U-turn there. I'm hoping that my Palafin actually knocks them out from the percentage they at, because I'm not a hero yet. Fortress, OU showdown usage. Flip turn does 11 to... I'm gonna go Palafin. Flip turn does 11 to 13%. Again, I need my Palafin activated here, especially because I messed up. It does 11 to 13%. We're gonna flip turn. Again, me being AV is amazing on this Pokemon. Nice, I knocked them out as well, which is so good. So good that I knocked them out there. So, they might be triple scarf on everything. So, Palafin. KOs. Fori. Always a Spother, because a Spother can protect on everything. And I got my Palafin activated, which is really, really nice. So I'm in hero mode again. I put that back, that way my calcs don't mess me up. Fortress looks to still be on the field, though. Hammond is right. This is a crazy game, man. I can't believe I threw that so quickly. Cannot believe myself sometimes, man. Reinhardt comes out. Reinhardt comes out. We're always going to go Lucha here. We're always going to go Lucha. Always, always, always. Now, the interesting thing is that if they go for Headlong Rush again, I hope they go for knockoff. Anything but spin would be cool. I don't mind if they go for spin, but I hope they go for Headlong Rush again. Exactly. I'm going to Roost, just in case they end up trying to go for a Rapid Spin or anything, or they just end up switching out into Rotom, which would be fine, I think. I think Rotom would be okay. I want my Stealth Rock up. Obviously, they could fear a Brave Bird too. They're going for Headlong Rush a lot. I really feel like they're AV. But if they go for Ice Spinner, I'll live it. Let me see. Obviously, because I'm getting my recovery back. They do switch. Rotom taking Stealth Rock is so amazing. Yeah, Rotom's getting itself lower and lower. So Rotom is at 50%, which is amazing. Rotom is at 50%. So it gets 2 KO by Jet Punch at this point. Next time it comes in. I for sure go out into Dragalge here. Always. Even if they bring out Great Tusk and spin and do all that stuff, I can bring out a Spothra after because they can't spin twice. So they'll take Rocky Helmet, which is what I want. There's another Volt Switch. It's like defensive Volt Switch, but it's Scarf as well. I don't know. Like, it's not doing that much to me is all I'm saying. I could see them going out into Breloom now, but I do have Sleep Talk to hit them. Alright, there's the Reinhardt. Just come in multiple times. Messing me up here. They probably predict this right now, but we already have Rotom in range of Lumina Crash as well, so life is good on this side. Life is good. It only has Headlong as well. Headlong Rush. Ice Spinner does KO me. Headlong Rush. Rush. Headlong Rush. So KO me from 50. What does that mean about this Pokemon? It's called Great Tusk. That means Ice Spinner KO me from there. I really feel like it's choice locked, man. It does 50 to 59 if it's max attack, which I'm assuming it is. I want to bring out you. I want to bring out you, and what I'm going to do is, like, depending on what they go for, I think Jet Punch is my best play just for guaranteed chip, because I feel like I win the game with my, I feel like I win the game with my Lumina Crashmon. I do. And if I get this chip on them, even if they are Assault Vest, I'm good. So we're going to go right for the Jet Punch here. If Rotom comes out, it should be 2 KO'd in theory. In theory, anyway. Also, if they brought Mono Choice versus me to try and mess up my defensive core, which I think is very smart, I'm good as well. So they do switch, which is nice. Something's coming in and something's taking this hit. Cassidy is the Breloom, I think? Cassidy's Breloom. So we broke Breloom's sash just in case they spun later. Now, I'm very worried about them being potentially Scarf on this thing too. So I'm going to make the Dragalge play here. I'm going to make that Dragalge play. Espathra, Lumina Crash to that. It's definitely max attack though. It's for sure max attack. So if it's Assault Vest, max attack. Assault Vest. It actually can't live Lumina Crash after all that damage. So if it's max attack, it can't, and it's Assault Vest, it cannot live Lumina Crash. So I think we're good for an Espathra sweep. And the reason I'm going Dragalge is because if that dude tries to put me to sleep, well, they don't know. I'm an insomniac. They don't know. They go for Bullet Seed there, which is smart. I'm just going to try and drop a Draco. I'm going to attempt to drop a Draco here. I hit 4 times. It could be loaded dice. It's Life Orb. Ooh, okay. So next time we know. Gonna drop a Draco. I do have defensive Vs. They could have bulldozed though. But I'm gonna drop a Draco just in case they... it's okay that they sport. I think it's okay that they sport, honestly. Because they can't double, like... I really feel like Espathra's going to clean up again, basically. I could have tried to Sleep Talk there. Let me try it now. They go for Aerial Ace, which does not kill because of my defensive Vs. Let's see if I wake up immediately. I do not get the first turn wake, which is great because now I can Sleep Talk. Now, I mean, obviously, Sludge Bomb or Draco is the preferred choice right now. I got the Draco. So Breloom is dead. Perfect. Not bad, Dragalge. Good job. Dragalge kills Breloom. Let's go. Good job, buddy. Good job there, buddy. Good job. My best friend. My best friend. Ideally, they try and go out into, like, Iron Moth, obviously. But this thing coming in is fine, too. I guess it could be Resist Berry. They gonna Rapid Spin here? They just go for Stealth Rock, which I think is fine too, because I might wake up and just get a billion damage off on them. If they're Resist Berry, that's great. I do wake up. Let's see if we land the Draco Meteor. We do. Perfect. Just in case they are Resist Berry, so they do die always to Lumina Crash. Gonna Draco again. I don't care if they spin. They just knock me out with Ice Spinner. Perfect. So they KO me with Ice Spinner. Great Tusk. KOs who? KOs Drag. I think Espathra's really close to sweeping now. And like, by right now, I mean right now. Because Lumina Crash KOs that. And there's only certain moves they can click. There's no 50-50s either. So I always Lumina Crash. Again, even if they have a Resist Berry or something, they won't be able to eat at that point. S KOs Great Tusk. And then we see what they go for when they go out into the Scarf. I can't believe I threw away my Mon turn 1. This could be a little bit easier now. Right, there's that Mon. Now it's Stealth Rock, funnily enough. I always KO. We're going to Protect here and see what they do. They could Energy Ball. We know they're Scarf, so we're going to drink some water. They might actually end up doubling into their Rotom, predicting me to want to go out into my Palafin. Because I haven't revealed Protect yet. I have not. Maybe I did reveal Protect. I probably did reveal Protect. But you know, I'm doing a Wi-Fi battle, so I cannot read. I am unable to read. Which means... which means I'm very lucky to be in a position where I could be a full-time YouTuber. I'll tell you that right now. Alright, there's the Water Terra. Which is whatever. Because if they Energy Ball, I'm good. Let's see. We Protect here. What do they go for? What do they go for? What do they go for? What do you go for? They Fiery Dance. Well, I got a nice and safe play right in the back. His name is Palafin. We know you're Scarf because I got cooked. I got cooked in the beginning. We know you're Scarf because I got cooked in the beginning, man. Almost had us in the first half. Yeah. Leviathan. Did you double? Did you double? They did not double. They did not double. Now I can mess around a little bit, you know, and get smoked. Close combat Oko is this guy, so I have nothing to think about. It also knocks out Rotom. Also, I don't die to -1 energy ball, so Rotom's gonna KO, so Palafin's gonna win the game. It should be a guaranteed win now. Because I'm Ghost type, the reason it's a guaranteed win is because I'm Ghost type on a Spathra, they cannot even try and Sludge. Even if they, basically, if they crit me, if they crit Palafin with Sludge Wave, which might not even KO me at -2 or -1, they can't beat a Spathra. So the Finn beats the Tom. As you can tell, I just ate dinner. I'll be honest. My mother's birthday the other day. We did a little celebration today. I'm in a good mood. I feel like punching people in the face. And you know what? I freaking hate moths. Actually, they're okay. Goodbye, my moth friend. You deserve a good rest. And Finn, this is dead. I'm gonna live energy ball easy. Watch this, guys. Watch this. 51%. 51% right now. If they energy ball me, 51%. If they energy ball right now, 51%. Finn beats. Finn beats ish. What's this mon's called? The freaking moth? Damn, I was writing all over the place. Can't believe what I did turn 1. They're running all types of calcs. Every single one. But let me tell you something. A hero wins with a smile on its face. And look at Palafin. Iron Moth. With a smile on its face. With a smile on his face. I'm going to punch you in your face. Good game. The LA Wakers win 2-0. We continue our undefeated streak. Next week we are playing my boy. I was about to call him Spathra, but we're playing Mephisto next week, who has the scary Sand Rush dog. I hope you guys all enjoyed, especially after what I did turn 1. Calculated. Please check them out. Their link will be down below. If they want to do an interview, I of course will be doing an interview with them. If they do not, though, I won't be, because you know that's just how it is. So hope you guys all enjoyed. Leave a like, if anything, subscribe to the channel, and be right back with hopefully an interview. Also, real quick before the interview, if you didn't know, I do have a Draco Shaker now out with Advanced GG. You can currently use code AIM30 for 30% off. That ends tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. This will be available for a while. We already sold so many of them. I appreciate y'all, but use code AIM30 for 30% off. It holds up to 25 ounces. And you can get 30% off the rest of their store as well, but it's a caffeinated energy drink store, so 18+. But use code AIM30. They do have a hydration line, though, that is not caffeinated. But yeah, let's enjoy the interview. So we're here with the post-game interview. So everybody knows I played that game 5-6 because I'm very, very stupid. But you're almost to 2,000 subs, right? 2,000?
Yeah, 17 as of right now.
Nice. So that's what I was telling them in the beginning of the video, so that they should go in and sub to you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so you want to talk a little bit about why you brought certain threats, and I'll talk about like what my thought process was besides turn 1.
Yeah.
I'll talk about every other thought process if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries. So like in general with the team, looking at the matchup, one is either I was super scared of either like a band or just 4 attacks like you brought Finn, because like Rotom gets caught one time with that CC, it's 2-hit KO'd.
Yeah.
So I didn't have good long-term answers, which is kind of why I went the really fat Scarf route, as well as like a, you know, what do you call it? A Scarf Moth as well to catch some things off guard, like the Meow turn 1.
That should not have done that. That should never have done that. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, guys.
Yeah, I think I said my thing. I was like, he probably pivots out, but like, you know, good momentum. I do like 70 if he stays in for some reason.
Dude,
or something like that. And then I got the crit. I
think I said.
Oh no.
Wait, you only do 70 if I stayed in? Wait,
it doesn't die.
It doesn't die. Wait, you got a crit on me?
Yes, I crit. No,
oh my god.
That's why I was saying my bad. Yeah, no, that's why I was saying my bad, because I crit.
Wait,
I knew that Kelk. I knew I didn't Kelk. Yeah, no.
Wow. Wow.
It is like 65 to like 77 or
I'm
something
the victim
like that,
here, guys. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm a victim.
Oh man, that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, in general, and especially the Spathra matchup was so tough. I knew Calm Mind probably couldn't come into a team like mine. I felt like it was just a little bit too slow to get rolling. And especially with things like Screen Tail that can usually kind of pivot in, encore, do some kind of shenanigans. I had a feeling the Lumina Crash set was going to come. So I was covert cloak, so I could switch on Lumina Crash and still eat up a Shadow Ball.
That's sick.
Yeah. It was so that I could come in, take the Lumina Crash, and then eat up the Shadow Ball after, because I die otherwise. Like, I just get rocked.
No, that's
even if
sick.
I'm passive, it does a lot.
I actually love that a lot. So, I mean, obviously I'm expert belt. So, unless you were fully special defensive, even then, you get 2 KO'd rocks, just because I'm modest expert belt. So, like, that's why, I mean, you just talked about you didn't think stored power was coming, which I mean, I think it's very hard to use
It wouldn't have been like the worst thing in the world.
No, but it takes so much to get going, whereas I think Lumina Crash is legit broken. If we had Open Terra, this would be #1 kill leader of the season. I'm telling you straight up, Espada would be #1 kill leader. We kind of have Open Terra for the first 4 weeks, because I can change it every week.
Oh, I felt it, dude. I felt it, and I was like, oh, damn, we really need to change that next season, because this is brutal. I played the Terra, and especially my team is like, so Ghost Week, especially like I played Valiant Terra Ghost Week 1, I played this Terra Ghost Week 2, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was brutal, and that's why it was so tough. I knew I was fighting like such a bad uphill battle the moment I went hard Scream Tail.
Yeah,
with
that
my
was
2.5% Fortress. I made the play and I switched in and I said, oh my.
I mean, I get it,
what
right? It's for emergency chip on Palafin and for Hawlucha. I get the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
In all my mocks, I basically did 2 things. I always sacked Hawlucha to Great Tusk, because that's its role. That's the only role Hawlucha has. Also, also based on the Volt Switch damage that you did to Jigalji, I was like, okay, he has no special attack investment. So me living that, I just roosted there, because even if you burnt me, it didn't matter. I just need Rocky Helmet, Taunt, Brave Bird. That's all I need to do.
Yeah.
And then I always sacked Iron Treads to Fortress, because if I can prevent hazards, I'm good.
That
like,
one spike would have went such a long way too.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
definitely
why
really, really
that's
tough.
why I always spin. Always. And after, because of the leftovers, I had 2 more turns to live Rocky Helmet. So if you don't, basically I could spin versus everything that's not Breloom, obviously. So that's like the thought process behind like that. So I usually in games I was down 4-5, 4-6 from the beginning. Never 5-6 turn 1. Though that's
that's usually a tough spot to come back from. Yeah, it's a tough position. Oh yeah.
But I worried about it, but I was like, I know what I need to do to win, right? Like, it sucks because the reason Meowscarada is really good is because if you tear water, obviously I could spam Scarf Flower Trip. If I was Scarf, I could be Scarf Flower Trip versus you, which is why I didn't expect Scarf Iron Moth as well, which I think was a good call. It obviously worked there. The other thing is crazy that, did you know that max HP, did you know that standard dot Iron Moth takes 84 to 99% from close combat from slacking Unbound over here?
Yeah, it takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, once it Terra Waters, it literally takes 84 to 99% from close combat, and if it's max HP, it takes enough to always die to Jet Punch after. Always.
There's no 50-50 involved in my tearing. I noticed in building, like I couldn't, call you going for a CC on a Terra Water or anything like, because CC was just so unbelievably free, which is again part of the reason why we went Scarf Rotom and things like that, because I could take like CC into Jet Punch if you weren't banded and things like that. And, no, it was an absolute menace. Not a very fun Pokemon to switch in, and you'd think with like a Rotom Wash, like, oh wow, I got a pretty good matchup into this thing. I think it was originally for a while I was even Pasho Great Tusk, which
that's why I played that's why I played
that
that way. Yeah, that's why I didn't like. I went certain mons, like I was like, okay, he could be AV, he could be a Spadef. So that's why I was trying to get the Rocky Helmet plus Stealth Rock chip on you, just so I could guarantee kill, because even AV, based on your damage with Ice Spin or your max attack, or close, which you were 220.
A lot.
So yeah, because I mean, you can see my Hawlucha. Originally, I had it being faster than max speed Scream Tail and Iron Muff, and I was like, no. Me and Dylan were talking, Dylan, and I was we were like, this is not your answer to Scream Tail. This is not your answer to Iron Moth. This is your answer to Great Tusk, and this is your way of chipping Hydreigon, because it's probably going to be Roselli Berry if you bring it, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, let me go really defensive, because with 208 HP, 204 defense, I live Choice Band Play Rough. It does 99% max. And then Ice, and if you use Ice Spinner, obviously I live that too. So both, like, obviously Play Rough is stronger, but it has the risk of missing. Whereas Ice Spinner hits, Dragalge super effectively, Hawlucha plus Meowscarada, while
just
being
gave better
accurate.
mid-grounds.
Exactly, yeah. By being accurate, like Ice was just so good versus me. So, yeah, I really like the Rindo Berry, Leaf Storm, Great Tusk. Oh, I said Leaf Storm, but I'm assuming it lives Leaf Storm.
Yeah, it definitely lives Leaf Storm. So the Spadef is actually I EV'd for Expert Belt, Lumina Crash, to take 1. Nice. In like a worst case scenario. And then I think the HP was just for, let me double check. I think it was for, No, I think it was split up to where I could always pretty much live a banded hit unless I was super chipped from the Meow. Because I also think I was having a lot of trouble in mocks with too. Because like again, Fortress good check switches him well, but I get knocked once.
Knocked immediately.
Then, like,
that's it. You're not a check anymore.
I switch him one more time, maybe.
I flower trick and you turn forever on you. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So I figured the Rindo was a lot more valuable. I think I had Pasho for a little bit. I think I even had like Punching Glove to do like stupid damage with Headlong Rush after like something like Lucha was chipped or something of the sorts. But I decided that Rindo was probably the best, just an insurance against Meow because I didn't expect it to die turn one. I was super stressed on it, so I figured that was something really important to live and be able to check. And I really didn't feel like I needed another item, and I could go super bulky because of like the 100 to 60 kind of drop off there.
Yeah.
From Taurus to Sylveon. Like I ran, I mean, I probably didn't even need the speed I had because I don't know if if Sylveon came, which I did see in a couple tests and mocks and things like that, I definitely wasn't going to be fast. I think I crept like modest Sylveon just in case.
No. If I was Sylveon and I was specs, I would never be fast. I would EV it to take a hit from everything and then just hyper voice.
Voice plus Side Shock, which was something that was a little bit annoying in mocks and things like that because Fortress doesn't like to resist fairy. So it was definitely something on my mind, but I didn't think it would be fast at all. But again, even then I didn't really need that much speed. So I could afford like a lot of mixed bulk at other places. But yeah, it was a really scary matchup. It was the Palafin plus the Espathra and then like potential spikes pressure from Meow. And I actually played a lot of mismag, like Ghost Spam teams with like Scarf or Specs. That was a big problem.
The last Mon for me was all so like the first 5 were always coming, right? Palafin, Meow, Espathra, especially because I could Terra Ghost in this one. Next week I'm Terra Fighting, by the way, guys. I'm back to Terra Fighting. And I think week 4 is the last one, right? So I'll probably be Terra Fighting forever for the rest of the season. But I dropped 2 free agencies to do this, which I don't foresee myself ever trading my Pokemon. But the first 5 were always coming, right? Palafin, Masquerada, Espathra, Halucha, Dragalge. I needed them. Last Mon was always a toss-up between Miss Magius or Iron Treads. And I opted for Iron Treads because, well, one, it's like a Psychic switching from Gothitelle, which for some reason gets Focus Blast now, which I'm happy about it getting Focus Blast. Wish it had it when I drafted it back in the day, but I'm happy it gets Focus Blast. And also, it can live a hit from like a boosted Hydreigon, so I can Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards and also Knock Off to get rid of the Berry. So I thought
very few OHKO'd on this team. There was not much that could ever OHKO Treads on my team either. I mean, you're so Spinef. I don't even kill with Moth.
Yeah, Moth doesn't kill either unless it's Specs or plus like +1 obviously. So like that was why I ended up with that. I was like, okay, it's a Volt Switch block. If I have to bring in on Rotom on a pinch, I'll knock Rotom, which means I don't even need Stealth Rock, right? If I knock Rotom, it gets 2 KO by close combat. If I'm banded, I mean, it actually gets 2 KO by Wave Crash if I'm banded. If I knock it.
I saw those calcs too. I took 55 from a banded Wave Crash and a mock, and I was not happy about that
dude,
either.
It's absolutely insane. I will say the thing about your draft, and I said it in my team builder, which I might have to record because I'm trying to keep them really nice and tight, like the draft analysis video or announcement video I did. So I said that yours is my favorite draft, and in my opinion, the best draft, because I think you have the best Pokemon that work well together. As in, like, look at your team right now, and I could take this team to OU and probably do well, type of thing. That's what I think. Great. I mean, Golden Goal is a problem, but like one person is Golden. So, and your team obviously forced certain prep, right? Like I wanted safety goggles on Dragalge, but I can't
because the Shell Goth.
Exactly. Everything else wasn't worried about Goth. Me being Ghost type, I could switch if I need to. Meowscarada can U-turn. Palafin can Volt turn.
I thought about it for a little bit, but everything I would want to trap, I couldn't really trap very well. Outside of like maybe wanting to trap Sylveon, if you weren't Shed Shell and I went like Taunt for Baton Pass and like a fast Taunt, but like even then I didn't really need to trap Sylveon if it came in my mind. I felt like I could pressure it otherwise.
Yeah, you can set up. You can pass,
Goth has done that thing twice this season where I couldn't viably bring it, but it forced a ton of prep. Week 1, I felt comfortable tricking a Clodsire with my Rotom because I knew he was going to be Shed Shell, and there's no shot he could be Black Sludge. So it's just kind of the inherent value of Goth, even 100%. If it's not great in a matchup, I guess.
Yeah, the other mono was actually a little grateful to not see it preview. Like these are basically the 6 I thought you would bring, but the occasional Talonflame could come. And
that was 6 Mon.
Yeah. Talonflame could potentially come. Also, Hydreigon, obviously, those 2 could come. But the other Mon that I was like, I haven't mocked versus this. What is my way of beating this? was Ursaring. Like Ursaring definitely could have been third. Obviously, I have so much. I have two of the best knockoff users on my team. You have one of the probably the best knockoff user in this tier, or in this in your team, right? In Great Tusk. But I have two of the best. So if I can obviously knock you, Espathra can Lumina crash through. So I was
it was a thought. It was a thought for like Ghost Spam. But Lumina Crash, Espathra just beats it anyways. And it was really a thought for Miss Mag because I kept playing Specs and Scarf, and the first time I played Specs, I just like got 5-0'd in the mock, and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't good. It was part of the reason why I actually changed to Scarf Moth, is so I could have something to outspeed Scarf Miss Mag, because I didn't bring a Ghost Resist.
Yeah, you didn't want to get side shocked, which does a lot.
Yeah.
Which still, I get that.
Exactly. So that was kind of a thought. I was like, oh, maybe I bring the bear for Miss Mag, but between Hawlucha pivoting in, especially because you're defensive, like pretty darn easily, and then just about everything, Treads eating up hits, Tauros in the back potentially, it felt like it got too pressured offensively as well, outside of even the knockoff users.
Yeah. Speaking of Tauros, is that why you brought Aerial Ace on Braylon?
Yeah, it was a good mid ground. I struggled with the moveset for a while. I had Bulldoze for a little while. I even like toyed with Thunder Punch, but Thunder Punch was just worse than everything else.
Yeah.
Aerial covered, like, say I'm in with, Braylon on Meowscarada, and I was really, really bulky again because the speed tier falls off, so I could lift like any like non-banded play rough and things like that, and obviously force you out potentially with a Mach Punch. I felt like Aerial Ace was a pretty easy mid ground to catch something like Lucha that wanted to pivot in, or if the Tauros came, I could hit that. And it honestly still chunks Dragalge. Obviously, it doesn't like 2-hit KO fat Dragalge or anything like that. Nothing really does besides Bulldoze. But it at least chipped it, and then I could, potentially Spore it, or I could pivot. I honestly didn't really switch in well to Dragalge either. Again,
yeah, no, it's great. Like
in the game, like it was really, even defensive sets. Every time I played, I was like, wow, this is absolutely obnoxious to switch into.
Yeah, even support, like literally. I said it in the video. Yours is the first Fortress I hit with Draco Meteor. Every single mock game I did, I missed Draco Meteor on Fortress, and I always had to sack my Iron Treads too. I was always going to do the 1v1, but I have potential to beat it if it doesn't. Yeah, if I have the damage before, I have potential to beat it before it beats me, which could obviously, like you said, in that game I could get rocks. And I understand you never spinning with the Headlong Rush dude, because one, I tear it early, right? Which was, smart, because I don't want to take Mach Punch. I want to stab on Shadow Ball. I want to be able to block Rapid Spin if you had it. You don't have it on Great Tusk, obviously. And yeah, I really like this Great Tusk set. That mon was really scary. I get you not bringing bulk up either, because what are you gonna run? Like, you're gonna run bulk up?
Yeah, I just don't have the move slots.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would need the spin boost even if I want to do like to win with it, And I'm gonna obviously take a ton of damage setting up the bulk up from something.
And if the Espathra protects, it's faster.
Nothing's free on it. Yeah, it can. I figured just like rocker, it was also like my best, like most consistent rocker in the game too, because I noticed there was a lot of games where like Miss Mag would come in, and because I only had spikes on the build, I would do like 75% with my Iron Moth over time, but it would still just be around and outspeeding everything forever because I didn't have rocks up. And I figured rocks were really, really important in like a Miss Mag matchup.
Yeah.
But nothing else could really get them up, and I knew Tusk was good offensively, but it didn't need to win, and it was good like as like a catch-all, live one kind of thing.
Plus,
which,
I always have to. Mon's freaking amazing. I always have to switch too versus that. Damn, Luminacrest is 97 to 115 to this Tusk, but because I'm expert about Modest, but I always have to switch versus it, right? Because I had to see if you were Salt Vest or. I knew you yeah, exactly.
It was one, hoping you weren't Modest, but you were, and two, kind of bluffing a little bit of AV or even like a weird what do you call it? What's the psychic berry? Pyapa berry or something like that. I mean, because again, there really wasn't anything else on my team that could beat it at that point, because I sacked the thing. It was just a giant bluff the entire game. I couldn't even go Rotom and like trick it into locking one move because it just protect on me and then kill me. Like,
literally. If you trick, like really it wouldn't even. I don't think trick would matter at all. Also, the second Rotom got hit again, it was already in range of Lumina. So like.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I had to make sure it was somewhat healthy to where I could take a Jet Punch from the Palafin coming in, especially with rocks up. It was my only way of not losing to that thing immediately too. It was definitely really tough. I think the biggest thing was like, obviously I started off on a good foot. I got that lucky crit. I'm in a good spot early. I think the Scream Tail sack really, really put me like just so far on the back foot to where it just felt like an uphill battle the entire rest of the game. It was a tough one.
Did you watch Blue Lock today? Or do you not care about anime?
So I haven't watched that show. I have a buddy who's super big into it, and I've actually been thinking about starting it because I never thought I would, but I do enjoy sports anime. I love Haikyuu. Kuroko is one of my favorites as well. So I've been thinking about it. It definitely looks sick.
So the reason I'm saying that is because the episode today was about luck, and it's saying luck is obviously random, but it's a skill too, because it makes sense. You put yourself in a position to where you got luck. You made the right play turn 1, and that's why you got lucky. Had you switched, you wouldn't have done it. I made the wrong play turn 1, and I got unlucky because of it. So yeah, it was luck, which I found out about in the post game with you.
At least you were mad. At least it didn't tilt you in the game too. You're like, I can't believe I left that in, let it die to U-turn. Oh, I saw a crit.
I'm so stupid, but I'm really stupid. In my back of my mind, I'm like, I can still do this. Like, I know I can still do this. Meowscarada is good, but it's not like needed to win.
No,
right?
No.
The best thing it did in Mox for me was knock Screamtail if it was leftovers, and maybe one spike, but I rarely ever got it up, so I wasn't too worried, especially because you were Scarf on that dude anyway, so it would probably end up being a sack. But yeah, that was my point. Like, you did the correct play, I did not, and you were fortunate because of it. Like, and you deserved it 1,000. I deserved that crit 100 times because of my play. But the reason also I didn't want to hard switch is because, like, in Mox, I either let off a Meowscarada, and anybody who plays draft, please do Mox. Like, practice.
Oh yeah,
it
makes such a big difference if you have the time. It makes such a big difference.
Yeah, if you have the time, it helps you figure out how you're gonna play with it. Instead of going through the theoretical and the hypothetical, you actually get to fight it one-on-one. Now, I will say, if you play 50 Mox with the same person, they're gonna start, trying to outplay your team.
Even if it's subconsciously.
Yeah, they're gonna start doing that. So if you can get multiple people to do it that you trust, that's great. But in the Mox, I always let off with either Palafin or Meowscarada. I opted for Meowscarada versus this team, though, because, again, I didn't expect Scarf, and it was good versus most besides Breloom. But had I led Palafin, it would have been better because I would have 0 to hero dude going early, which is nice. And then obviously I had the insane bulk. So, like, there was just Meowscarada was probably just a bad lead on my part, too, I think, overall.
The reason I always ended up leading, what do you call it? I was leading Breloom for a little bit because I could get an early score off on some certain leads, like a Palafin lead, like a Meowscarada, even if I'm being super aggressive. I click area like Cindaspore, like that whole thing I was talking about the Dragalge. But the reason I end up leading with Moth is because I was seeing a lot of lead Meows, and I was seeing a lot of lead offensive. It wasn't Sash really, because that probably wasn't bringing into like a Fortress team or anything like that. Especially if you haven't terrored yet or anything like that. So I would see a Meow lead. I'd see it pivot out immediately, and I would see it go into Dragalge, which obviously is a great pivot. But then from there, I could pretty freely go Tusk and get really early rocks, and that's kind of what I was actually hoping for, to get the rocks to chip down the Espathra, so it's in range of X Pokemon, whatever it may be. And same thing with Palafin and Hawlucha and things like that. Obviously, you could defog, but yeah, I planned on using it to get early rocks. It was just kind of a fortunate turn to get the crit and pick it off immediately.
No,
but actually,
I get you.
I didn't end up getting rocks until super late because of that, and that was more so just like I live ahead, I might as well get up rocks to see if I can chip things down. Range them off.
I literally stayed in with Palafin because I was like, you're a freaking hero, dude. You're not gonna die to this at all. I know your EV spread. I know everything. I started hyping that homie up. Yeah, dude, it was just like, I really did. Like, I love freaking. I'm very happy that Palafin did good in its first battle, which I'm very happy.
Oh, for sure. It had a pretty abysmal matchup from what I saw last week too. So it was cool to see it have a really good one this week.
The mon I spent the most on. It's cool to see it actually do well. Though I will say that next season you better rise Espathra up, because this mon does not deserve that. But,
for sure.
I think that's it, guys. So please check them out. Any closing words, bro?
No, I appreciate you having me on. It was a fun game. Hopefully I'll get a good rematch in playoffs, and I won't sack my Screamtail. But it was a fun one.
Hopefully, I'm gonna be honest. I don't join anything without the drive to win. But I have a pretty big history of losing in playoffs. So we'll see what happens. If we do fight, I hope I beat you. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. We'll see you on next time. Peace.